Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Camouflage of the World. I'm Mike B, and today we're going to be taking a look at the French three-color desert, or Daguet. I probably butchered that. It's Daguet, Daguet, whatever. Actually, that was the name that was given for the kind of code for the Operation Desert Storm in 1991. So, France at that point, and most other NATO countries for that matter, didn't really have a specific desert pattern because most of the fighting was anticipated to be done in Europe during the Cold War, so people weren't really thinking about fighting in the desert. The U.S. and a couple other different countries actually already had a pre-made desert pattern in their inventory, but France is one of the countries that did not. And so in about 1990, they came out with a three-color desert pattern that is very similar to this example. This one's from 1998, but the original one was a little bit more sandy colored, but this is a little bit more khaki. The patterns are almost identical, so just so you know that there was two variations. So this one, I don't know the model of field jacket or shirt, but it's very interesting, and we'll get into the material and stuff in a little bit. But yeah, it's a really simple three-color pattern. There's really not much to it, which is great for a desert pattern. The only thing that I can really think of is that the brown, this is obviously an unissued jacket, but the brown is a little bit dark, but it's about the same color as the US three-color desert pattern when it's new. So I would assume that this would work fairly well. We'll give it a couple washes. And yeah, so this has been the standard issue desert or arid environment camouflage for France since about 1990. And the CCE woodland pattern, which I made a video on, is also kind of based off of this. Loosely, it's not totally a copy or whatever, a little bit smaller patterns, but you've still got this nice horizontal French pattern. The French love horizontal patterns. They have since their lizard or whatever you want to call it pattern from the 1960s on. And yeah, so we'll get into the actual kind of jacket, this uniform. What I found really interesting is that it's made out of a herringbone twill material. Now, herringbone twill was a very popular pattern, or pattern of cloth or material in the Second World War, Korea, and even into Vietnam. And then it kind of got phased out for more poplin or ripstop, actually. But France apparently liked herringbone twill and decided to make this particular uniform model, dated 1998 again, in this herringbone twill material. I don't know the exact consistency. I'm sure it's a poly cotton blend. But yeah, this jacket's pretty ergonomic. It's got two zipper front pockets, a little place for your name tape, rank, and a button-up closure with some Velcro on the bottom to help kind of keep it closed, I guess. And your arms have got snap closures. So it's a pretty standard uniform. Got the epaulets up there. Again, here's the tag. So 1998. It's a size large, so 104L, so it's basically a large long. Yeah, but I'll give you kind of a close-up again of the actual material and the different colors. Here's a good spot to do it. So you've got this kind of light sage green, very light sage green, and then you got the brown and the khaki. So again, really good color patterns for almost every desert environment. And I suppose, like I said, after a couple washes, this would be even more effective because it'd be a little bit lighter colored. Deserts don't have many really dark colors, especially the ones in the Middle East and Northern Africa and stuff like that. So it's a really good thing to have kind of a lighter colored uniform. I don't know why they don't have kind of a pinkish hue in here because it's a really common desert color, but again, neither did we. So yeah, I think they were kind of talking to the US at that point, which was also had probably either just come out or was just coming out with their three-color desert pattern. About 1990s, the same time. So that's probably where they got the idea for having just three colors. But this one actually came before the woodland pattern. I don't know if I'd already said that, but this is actually France's first modern camouflage pattern that they still use today. Obviously, the jacket and the uniform itself is going to be a little bit different model, but this is still being used by French forces, French Foreign Legion, all that stuff. And again, I can see why. It's a nice, simple camouflage pattern. And yeah. So this stuff is actually fairly uncommon to find in the United States, just because France doesn't make a lot of this. Most desert patterns, unless you're actually in a country that, your basic terrain is desert, you're not going to have a huge inventory of this. Usually you give it to your first people that are going over and then you start production again, just like the U.S. did with the first Gulf War and the Iraq and Afghanistan wars. So it's not really super easy to find in the U.S., but it's easy enough to where I can get it. I'm probably going to end up selling this on my shop because it doesn't fit my fat ass. But yeah, I mean, it's a nice solid size. So yeah, look for it on there. If you're watching this at a later time and it's already gone, don't worry about that. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you got any questions. I'll try to answer them. Again, sorry for butchering the French word. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly. I'm not very fluent in French. Haven't really done much with the language in about 15 years. So yeah, anyway, hope you enjoyed this video. If you consider becoming a supporter on Patreon, that helps me get cool things like this. And I mean, this one I didn't use Patreon money for because I'm probably going to sell it. But to expand my personal collection and to kind of give you guys a education on actual live, you know, it's not just a picture of that I found off Google. This is actually a real uniform. You can see how it actually looks. And Patreon really helps offset the costs because I really can't afford to be funding this channel out of pocket that much anymore. So thanks to all my current patrons. Ben Jammin, you know who you are. It's a $50 a month patron. It's got some really cool stuff coming thanks to him and all the rest of the patrons. So stay tuned for that. Link is in the description. $1 a month. All right. If you like this series, let me know. I'm going to try to keep it going and get some really weird patterns from around the world. I try to keep it really simple. I don't know the exact history and the development and who was involved and you know what kind of coffee they were drinking when they were designing the pattern, but I try to keep it pretty simple, just showing you different camouflage patterns of the world. So thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you on the next episode of Camouflage of the World.